All right, so I think everything can be, people wonder why women are hypergamous, right? They always use the word, everybody, you know how many times you guys have heard the word hypergamy, right? A million times, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean?
Moving on up.
Moving on up.
Better deal.
Okay, you could say moving on up, but what's more fundamental? Moving, changing. New lovers. Okay, new lovers. Not always up, because sometimes down.
Do they think they're down, or do they realize it?
Does
it matter?
Could be down by the train tracks, in the ghetto, wherever it is that. Why? What is the fundamental part? It's that I don't think the whole problem. The reason why guys. Let's see. How do I put this? Basically, women are horny. Okay, this is what guys society doesn't want to accept. Is that I think hypergamy has more to do with the fact they want new lovers. Like we go to a city where there's a lot of girls. We're gonna fucking get a crew of them. No matter how one girl is hot, it's not enough. It's not compared to 8. One girl can never be as hot as 8. I mean, I guess you could think of some rare situation, but if you ever done it yourself, you'll know what I'm talking about. The variety is nice. Fresh faces, good moods, coming over with cupcakes and fucking new ideas to go on a date, and some girl lost some weight, wants to show you some new thing she learned, or whatever. Basically, here's the deal. Women are horny, and I think they're more horny than guys. And the thing is, I think this is the reason why women, okay, I'm trying to put this into words. It's not easy because I've never heard it. Okay, so everybody says that women are on the cock carousel, right? That's the big thing, right? Cock carousel, right? And what is that? What is that?
It's a metaphor.
Yeah, but what is it in real life?
Oh, it's going from man to man.
Man to man,
Horse.
changing, right?
Moving.
Man to man, a lot of different men, right? Why would they do that? What would be the reason for
I
that?
find that very enjoyable.
Horny,
Yeah.
you know.
They want to satisfy
And
that itch.
now, why would a woman? Okay, well, let's think about
Well, is it
you
like
guys.
sperm wars? Are you going down that road?
No. Think about this. Why would you? Let's say you go to a city with a lot of girls and you want to travel and see all these things, but you end up just boning chicks all the time, or you never get out of your room, right? It's because you're so turned on by all these chicks that it stops you from seeing all these things you wanted to do, right? A lot of young guys are like this that have choice, right? So women, what they're doing, why are they not having babies until they're trying to have their babies in their 30s or 40s? It's just people don't want to accept the fact, and women don't want to accept the fact, and society doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that women are just super fucking horny. And they are hornier than they love children.
I'd agree with that.
So they care more about sex than children. That's the bottom line. That's why they wait until their 30s or 40s, because it's not that important. So in other words, if you have something you really want to do and something you don't want to do, which you're going to do first, right? You're going to do the other one. And then later you're going to come to these excuses, well, this happened and that happened and this happened and that happened. So the truth is you didn't want to do it. Otherwise you would have done it. Women prefer sex over children. I realized that the other day. I've never heard this before. But this is the reason why they're waiting. The whole, forget the words like hypergamy and carousel. They're just horny and they care more about sex than children or bonding or relationships or anything. They're just horny as fuck. Women are horny as fuck. And nobody will say it or nobody sees it. They're just super horny. You could call them something, but that's not the right word. If they're just horny, they're horny, right? Like if you take your dog to the park and he starts humping every dog, are you saying he's a slut or whatever? He's just horny. He's just going to do that. Some animals, they're just going to do that, And that's what women do. And that's why you can't marry them. Bad idea. Bad. Bad dog. Now, because you're trying to turn her into something she's not. So when I said earlier I did a cock carousel, I said, should let them ride the carousel. Nobody understood what I was saying. What I was saying is, you guys are a bunch of windbags getting nothing done, and women are just doing what they're doing. You sound like an idiot. That's what I really meant. Like, just, if people are doing stuff, just let them do it. Don't be the one guy complaining about what they're doing. They're just doing it. They're horny. They don't care about kids. Not very much. Not very much.
No, I'd agree with that.
They'd rather have sex. And a lot of sex with different guys, different body types, different scenarios. They prefer that to pretty much anything society offers them. So maybe marriage is not that attractive. Maybe women are just not that into kids. Maybe once you have a kid, you kind of change. But I've talked to a lot of women in private, and a lot of them told me they didn't change that much. I've had women tell me they don't really love their kids, that they just put on a mask, like they don't have a choice. The kids love them, and over time the kids kind of grow on them a little bit, but not that much, not as much as you think. So a lot of your fantasies about women, like, it's not true. It's not. It's just purely not true. So the thing is,
if my ex-wife.
Wait, don't interrupt yet, because I'm trying to. Let me get the idea. So like, think about what ideas does this destroy? Because like, you're kind of like hypergamy. You're kind of blaming them, and the thing is, you could say they're always going up, but it's not true, man. They'll go with any sports guy, any of the band, the bartender. He's not up. Everybody knows the girls screw the bartender, right? Is he up? No way. No way. But they will screw the bartender
in a heartbeat. And
the bandman, and the guy in the band, the bassist. They're gonna fuck him, right? Yeah, the lead singer. They're gonna fuck him, right? So is that hypergamy? It's not. No. Yeah, we're blaming them for something that's not even true. They're just horny, and they basically can't control themselves, or they don't want to control themselves. I don't mean they should. That's not the right word. I think it's important to see the dark side, and don't let them try to convince you, because women will hear this and they'll say, no. But the smart ones, the honest ones, that your friends will say, yeah, it's true. Women do care more about sex than kids. And if you can accept the dark side of life, then you can work out a deal with life, right? As long as it's a secret, as long as it's like the secret thing that women don't tell guys, then it's like we look like a bunch of idiots. We're trying to put labels on it. Hypergamy, cock carousel. And it's like, they don't know they're getting older. They're not going to be wanted. Listen, when you really want something, if you really want to drink, you don't give a fuck what happens afterwards. You know what I mean? You want that fucking drink, and you're just going to fucking drink that drink, and it's fine. You know shit's going to go down the next day. You know you're not supposed to, but you don't give a fuck. You've decided you're going to do it. That's the way it is with women, is they know that it's not good as far as having kids, higher rate of birth defects every year, less chance of pregnancy. And guys are sitting there like trying to convince them. Think of what guys, the way they talk to them, like in videos. They're just like, you don't know, you're going to be unwanted. And she's like, you don't know shit about life, man. This makes me feel good. And I choose this over all this other bullshit. The whole idea of family is a lie. It's all a fucking lie. Women don't care. Some women will pretend like it. I've had women tell me like, okay, just like guys talk to me, girls talk to me, and they'll say, look, I pretend like I'm the good wife and the good mother. She's like, but I would just rather go back in time and not have had the kids and just travel. And this is people with kids. So you're saying, the guys are saying is like, you don't know if you had kids, you would know and you would change. And the truth is, it's not like that. There's been women all through time I forgot there's a German woman who wrote an article first saying it was all a myth that women bond with their kids. Great article. You should definitely read it. I don't know where to find it. It's available. But she basically said she just fakes it because she kind of has to, because who doesn't? You know what I mean? And some women, I think, I shouldn't say all, because there isn't any all of anything, but I would say that the basics, like tide comes in, tide goes out. Sometimes there's going to be an extenuating circumstance. Somebody built the wall there, right? You know what I mean? There's something going on that makes the tide not come up in that place. But generally, look at the basic rules, right, of gravity, of things. The base. I personally think I've never heard it, but I think the reason why women are not having kids is because now they don't have to pretend like they care. But they just tell us, oh, I will when I'm older. Because sex only lasts so long. Here's the other thing. The horniness, it doesn't last as long as you think. They're not as horny. They kind of go, girls go through peaks too, like guys do. Girls go through peaks and they lose interest, right? Maybe like 35 is the second peak. And then once it's kind of over, I mean, I know there's going to be the rare woman who's super horny at 70, but generally it's not the case. Generally it's not the case. They lose interest in sex. So I'm not saying forever a woman's always like this, but I'm saying that my theory here with this one is that estrogen is such a powerful drug that it basically overpowers their other mechanisms if let be that way. So like just accept realities about life when you see them. You don't have to tell anybody, just observe. Just go, if this is true, you'll see it. I think that's the real thing. And I think that's what we don't want to accept. Because we want them to do this old Western drama where everybody, pretends like they're a horse thief and a cattle rustler and you're the general store manager. We make up these little Western towns. You know what I mean? You're the saloon owner and everything. And we want this to be this way. We don't want the chaos of reality. The chaos of reality is they're just too horny. They don't give a shit about family, marriage, kids. They want to have fun, and it's enjoyable. I mean, if you've ever gotten a woman really horny, like super, 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 super horny, that Pandora's box story, that's what it's all about. Once you open Pandora's box, it can't be closed. I think that's probably why they used to do female circumcision in the old days. Male circumcision was a health thing, hygienic thing. Female circumcision was a way to stop. It was society saying, like, if women let their sex drive run things, they're not going to do any of the good things for humanity, right? So they were going to stop them. In some parts of Africa, they used to do it till recently, right? I'm totally not saying that should happen, but that was society's solution for the thing that we want to ignore now. I don't recommend solutions. I think we should just accept and like, I'm like a wolf or a boa constrictor who can live in the city. Like I'm from like out in the country, whatever, but I'm living in the city. I know where to get the garbage. I know where to go. I know how to go in society. But actually, I totally red-pilled all the way. But I know how to like walk around and be normal, and like I can fit in. I can, I choose not to run away, like be the mountain man making the bombs. I'm not that guy. I'm like right here, but I'm totally not here. You know what I mean? That's my way of solving the thing. Is not trying to change you guys or everybody else. I'm just this wolf or animal who has somehow adapted to living with humans without them killing me, right? Yeah. Somehow making sure that you're not getting because when you tell the truth or when you live the truth, very dangerous, right? You've seen that in history, right? So I think that's the truth. I think that answers almost all the questions. Women are way hornier than you think. It's such a simple fucking idea.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. Okay, he was first. So go here and then hand it to the next guy, and don't press the buttons.
Yeah.
Hold it from the top.
All right. I was just gonna say.
I'm not sure it's true. I think it's true.
Well, when you said that, I remember my sister when she had her first child. I will never forget. She said this to me. She's like, I didn't know if I loved it or not because, like, when I gave birth, then then love came. But initially, it wasn't there because I don't know this person, But it started to grow, and my love for this child is growing over time. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, interesting. Like, it didn't happen instantly for you. It's something that grew for you in the months as you had the child. So I don't know if that proves or disproves it, but I just thought I would throw that in there.
It doesn't like for example, say you're a juvenile delinquent, but you're forced to spend the summer in an Amish community, and you're like, I don't want to go. I'm not gonna go. But then you go, and then you realize that you can trust the people around you. They're not always ripping you off. And you realize like the simplicity of life is not that bad. And the peace of this kind. So when you get in the environment, you could realize the benefit or the things you couldn't see before. So I don't say that a woman cannot grow into it with the right attitude, into love with a child. Because that is also, you see that can be real, very real. But I don't think the overpowering desire for sex that women have is still there. And like one of my best friends, his brother's wife just left the 6 kids and just took off and made porn in Miami, She just took off, she left the kids, So, I mean, it definitely happens, And I think the other ones that stay, that are not fully involved, yeah, that's the truth. Straight up. Yeah. From a Craigslist ad. Yeah. So, thing is now, of course, that's the extreme on the other side. But that, I'm not saying they're equal in percentage, but
it's funny we're laughing about it, but there's a guy.
I think that you could listen to a random video on YouTube. Okay, you close your eyes out of all the billions of videos, click on it, and you might love it, right? Once you really listen to it. But you would never click on it. I think that's more what I'm saying. That they are not all in the mood to listen to it. Because they're really having a great time. No, maybe if they did listen to it, like if the uncle they love played it for them, and they forced them, if they were sick and it was like school was closed and the theaters were, coronavirus or whatever, and they had to do it, then they might say, wow, But that's not a very safe bet for your life, It's not a very safe for as a man. Like I would say the fulfillment that your sister gets from that is beautiful. It's great. But then you have to look at it from your perspective. What are the odds that I'm going to pick one that's going to grow into it? Not as high as society. Society tells you it's 100%. Society tells you that women love their kids 100%. That women want to have kids and they want to be married. Is that... Every time women women in Tokyo don't get married. Women in the countryside get married. Once they get to Tokyo and they see all the stuff to do and all the people to meet and all the restaurants and all the food and all the fun, they just don't get married anymore. Because it's more fun to be single. And they can have sex with who they want. They don't have to hassle with some dude. They can just earn their own money, spend their own money. Japanese women are not, they just don't want to get married. The guys want to get married in Japan. But the women don't want to get married. Because once they see the fun and all this stuff, they just want to have fun. They just want to do their life. I think a lot of it is just, women are a lot more hedonistic than we think. They are. Who in this room has ever turned a girl on to the point where she becomes like the Exorcist? Okay. Like she really becomes like the Exorcist, right? If you've seen that change, if you've ever seen that change, not a regular thing, I'm thinking, not a normal, I'm talking where they really start losing their minds. If you've seen that, it scares you. You're like, what in the fuck? Because guys are never like that. Guys don't get like that. We can't do that. Yeah, we get to the point where we're like, we really, really want to do it. But then when we do it, we're pretty much done. Yeah. Until the next time, right? No, it's like they want all weekend. It's Friday night, go till Sunday. Let's keep this going till Sunday. Let's just keep going up and then down and then up and then down and up and then down. That roller coaster all weekend, right? They like literally want to ride it all weekend. Guys can't do that. We can't do that. So really, they are hornier than we are. And that pleasure, if they ever get the right spot hit. So the whole thing about Chad and Tyrone, it's not about Chad and Tyrone. It's whoever gives them an orgasm. That's all it is. It's whoever. So it could be the bartender. It could be the guy in jail. She goes to jail. Guys in jail always have girls visiting them fucking them because that gives them an orgasm. Something about it. In jail, the bad boy. In prison, the guard knows you're going in to fuck him. There's something shameful about that. Whatever it is that drives them, makes them really get all hot or whatever, you know. It's true, right? So whatever gives a girl an orgasm, that's what they're searching for. It's just endless orgasms. And that's why they leave marriages, because there's no more orgasms. You know? And it doesn't matter how good the guy is, one guy is not enough. You can't do it forever. I mean, you can do it forever with many girls. But with one, she's going to lose interest. So that's the problem with monogamy with girls. You know, is they're searching for this orgasm, whereas guys, we're the opposite. We want freedom, right? But once we get one girl who's going to fuck us endlessly whenever we want, we're pretty good. You know, myself included. If the girl's going to do everything I want, it's okay. You know, I can deal with her. She's going to get older, but she kind of grows on you a little bit, you know. You start to like think, she's all right, you know. She's pretty cool, you know. As long as she's, you know what I mean? You're having sexual, it's fine, you know. Girls are not. Like, they're the opposite. They're like, they once they're with you, then it's like they start to realize, like, you're not going to give them those orgasms. They think you will forever. You know what I mean? And then they realize, oh, shit, no more orgasms. And then that's when they have to make a choice what they're going to do next. But I think this is a big O, man. That's all it is we're fighting against a big O. No guy can do it forever. Even the girls that are like sports star groupies, they don't go with the same guy. They always go with different ones, different teams, different guys, you know, different rock stars. Yeah. Read the groupies book from the 60s. All their books they wrote. They're not just going with Eric Clapton. They're not just going with whoever now, whatever, Jay-Z. They're going with everybody. They're going with this guy, then that guy, then this guy, this guy. And then that's what they do, right? Because that is the type that gives them an orgasm. And as long as that happens, she's happy. But then it stops, and then you're toast. She doesn't really, you're not, you know. And it's too, I tell you, the main reason why you shouldn't get in a monogamous relationship is because it's too depressing as a guy. Because it doesn't matter your skills. You could literally be the most hung guy, the most skilled guy, the most this, the most that. None of it matters. None of it matters because she wants the variety, right? She wants the variety. She wants to do the gold medal winner this year. You know, she just saw him right there. He just jumped off this. He just ran that. He just threw that. And she's like, I want to fuck that guy now, you know. And then she's done with him, and then it's like, oh, you know, he's kind of whatever. They come up with all these words, but all the words, just behind the words, no more orgasm. That's it. No more orgasm. For some reason, he can't no longer, you know, unlock the safe. He's like, and usually click, it opens. And all of a sudden, it doesn't open. Right? So that's it. That's the whole answer to the whole thing.
I was just going to ask you a question. Do you think it's orgasms or just the quality of orgasm that brings them the most joy? I mean, maybe it's not that they can't have an orgasm with you. Maybe it's they can't have the orgasm with the entire experience that makes them, you know, so thrilled. It could be more than just the orgasm. It could be the experience, the totality of the sexual experience that they're talking that they really want. Like for me, it's not just about having an orgasm with a woman. It's about that totality of experience that culminates in an orgasm. So, I'm asking you, what are your thoughts on that?
I think you're not thinking about what an orgasm is for a woman. You know? Yeah, just the girl being wet and, you know, whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. Like an orgasm where she's, you know, like the one you can check for physical things, right? If you see her anus going like this, you know, opening and closing, like involuntarily, she's having an orgasm. If you see like, if you feel that like the white cream coming down on your balls, like just the foam is coming down, that's orgasm. There's physical. I don't trust any words because women can fake an orgasm. I only trust the physical things. So if I see that spasm or if I see that foam, if I see something that I'm like, definitely work with her. You know, That's what they're looking for. That's the thing that is so rare that drives them crazy. Just good sex is not. If it doesn't give them that, they want that, you know. But they kind of want the same guy to do it, but it can't. It's kind of not their fault. Like the way their body is, they're not going to have it with the same guy. They can't like suddenly decide, I'm going to have an orgasm with him for the rest of my life, you know. That's not going to happen, right? So I think you're underestimating how rare they are, you know. I'm not saying that, but I'm not saying that every single time they go. Let's say back to my earlier, say they wanted to do the guy who won a gold medal or something, right? Now let's say they screw. I'm not saying he's necessarily going to give them an orgasm, but it's going to be a good shot for them, and they're going to be close, you know. And maybe it will a few times, you know, but it might not, because they don't even know their own bodies. They can't predict really so much what's going to, you know, kind of work. Because you can have a girl like where she's going up and you can see her building and she's starting to shake, starts to shake, and you know, you're getting super close. You're like, I'm almost there. It's almost there. And then one wrong word and she can just, it all's down. And you know it's not going to happen that day. It's a certain kind of very difficult to ride momentum for her, you know. So I think that's the thing. That true orgasm is what they care more about that than almost anything else, you know. When it comes to guys, you know, or girls, if a girl gives it to them, then they're gonna be with girls, you know. Although they might be with guys sometimes, but if the girls give it to them, I think that's why the rise in lesbianism is because girls have learned to give each other orgasms. Even if they're kind of disgusted by the woman in general, as long as sex is complicated, right? As long as it gives them an orgasm in the end, then they're like, okay, fine, I'll do that, right?
I was reading something about a study out of Minnesota in a school where they listed all these different things, and basically women get turned on by pretty much anything. They could watch monkeys. Yeah, okay. So, you know, but I was just going to concur with what you were saying earlier, like as far as, but I think women respond to the man. So if the man is really desirous of her, she'll go with him because she thinks she's going to get an orgasm, like you said. But once we get off as men, we're like, yeah, we don't really desire her as much. Or maybe we do. Maybe she's that rare, like, jewel that we think, oh, yeah, I want to be hitting that again and again and again. Yeah. But more than likely, at least in my case, like, I could think in my 20s, like, I can remember maybe 2 or 3 women that really, like I can't even remember names. I can't remember faces. But I can remember 2 or 3 girls. That's it. And I remember one in particular, like I think I was 19. It was the best sex I ever had. Like I was so hot for this girl. And she even said, you know, like I give her orgasms. We had sex like 3 times. On the 3rd time, I was just like, yeah, you know, now I'm 19, right? You know, you can't fault me. I'm 19, you know? Now, if it would happen to me today, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I'm still pining over this girl. I can't remember her name. Years ago, I don't know if you've ever had a girl like this. I don't remember her name. I really can't remember her face. But that girl could suck a dick. Okay? I mean, that girl, I could be just sitting here completely not horny at all. You know? Not horny. In 20 seconds, she'd have me hard and ejaculate. I never went over 30 seconds, okay?
Go ahead. Let me say something. Next time that happens.
Yeah. It could happen again.
No, next time it happens.
Yeah.
You have to break out the video camera because you have to film it exactly. Film exactly what she's doing, and then you can show it to your other girlfriend.
Yeah.
No, that's what I did. That's what I did. No, I had one like that, and then I filmed her.
Like, oh my God.
I filmed her, and then I would show girls, and we went the first time we had sex. I'd show it to her, and she'd be like,
"Show me the video so I can tell."
No, she stole it. She stole it. Yeah. She found out what I was doing with it,
Oh my God.
and so then we used to bring over. This long story. Anyway, we'd bring over other girls, and then I'd show the video, and then get them horny, and then she's like, "Oh, you can't show them that video," and then she ended up stealing it. But she was cool. She wasn't angry, but she just got rid of it. You know, it's like women just solve problems. You know, I was like, "Where is that video?" You know, Wait, it couldn't have gotten out of here. It's right here, you know. But so the thing is next time you have somebody does something excellent, really excellent, film it, because it is rare, like you say. But here's what I learned: is I filmed it and I would show it to other girls, and it'd be the first time we were together, and they would say, "Wait, that's you, isn't it?" And at first they'd be like, kind of like, but I'd be like, "Yeah, but she's like really good. You got to watch this." And then she'd watch it, and she'd be like, and then they realized I was showing them a work of art, because it was a work of art. It was masterpiece on how to please a man, and the girls were totally cool with it once they realized this was very valuable for them, because from now on they can control a guy right there with this skill, you know, because that will right there will control a guy. Like, he will marry her, you know. And so you're still talking about it how many years later? 25 years later, right?
Maybe 30.
Yeah. So
I mean, this girl's amazing. I don't know her name.
Yeah,
I mean, if I knew her name, I'd be.
No, but here's the thing.
Yeah,
it was just a technique. What I'm saying is, I was with so many. I know it's just a technique. That's all. She had a unique technique, and you should have filmed it. Next time, make sure you film it, because you'll forget too. Because I can't remember what she did unique anymore since I lost that video. I really can't. What was it that she did? I can't remember.
I mean, it was still perfect.
Yeah, but if I had the video, I could show it to a new girl, and she'd be like, "Oh, I get it," you know.
But then,
that's very valuable for her future.
But like you
to
said,
know how to please. They used to have classes to teach women how to please a man, because they want to have a happy marriage, and you got to be able to please the man, right? I think they should have classes for women to teach them how to do a PJ and a hand job. And the reason why is because I'm not the kind of guy who wants to push a girl to do anything. If she doesn't want to do anything, she can leave. I'm fine with it. I am not a pusher at all. I'm like, oh, you don't want to? Okay, see it. But if she knows how to give a good hand job, let's say she's sick, she doesn't feel good, she's got the flu, but she knows she wants to keep you happy, you know what I mean? She can talk a little dirty and give a nasty hand job, and everything is great, you know, when she's not feeling good, because she's got the skill. She's got to have the training, right, to do it. It's very, very valuable skill. So, you know, I think every girl should have some kind of training in the what do you call it, like the art of love or whatever. Yeah, the sensual arts, the pleasing a man, whatever. And I think most guys don't either. That's why there's these things that are so rare. I'm not talking about the standard techniques. I'm not talking about how to do it like in a porn video. I'm talking about those rare girls that, like, I had one like that. Like, she was just like, she wanted to get fucked 5 times a day, every time, 5 times. And I was like, I can't do it 5 times. Like, no way. And then she's like, we'll see about that. And I was like, yeah. And so then I was just like the 4th time, I'm like, no way. And then she's like, boom. And then the 5th time, I'm like, get away. No, like, don't touch me. You know, I'm tired. I'm sore. And then she's like, just let me soap it up. I'm like, I don't want to. No, don't. It's not going to work. Anyway, it's not going to work. You know, it starts to get pretty beat up, you know. And then she's like, she did a new technique. She like pinched or something. She like pinched and stuff. And she did something. And I was like, no, you can actually do it. That's amazing. Never met a girl like that before or since. But she just wanted it 5 times. That was it. She was 5 times. 5 times. And she was married, by the way.
Her husband was probably safe.
I think I mentioned her before. The funniest thing ever was I got her so horny that I shouldn't say I did. This girl was actually naturally this way. This one, she just liked me as a partner. That was all. I fit into her, whatever it was. But she basically had it before she met me. She knew about it. And then we did it like 1,000,000 times or whatever. And then she left, and I found out she fucked the taxi driver on the way home. Yeah. She was so horny, she couldn't stop. She fucked the taxi driver. You know, girls, once they turn that knob, you know, it's not easy to do it, but once that knob is turned, it's an impossible thing. That's why I always say, I try not to turn the knob now, because it's not to my benefit. It's not to my benefit.
It's like if you show your girlfriend like lesbian porn, like this really turns. But next thing you know, she's gonna.
It's way deeper than that. It's beast time. It's what is that movie again? Exorcist. You know, it's Exorcist. It's totally gone. It's possessed. It's possessed. You know, once that heat, that fusion heat has been reached, The first time I was really proud of myself. And we had some great sex and it was great. But now I feel sad. Like I feel like as soon as I get them to that level, I see them going away already in my mind. Because I know that cannot be satisfied. You know what I mean? There's no way. Like it's not possible. You can get them there, but you can't. You know what I mean? Like they're just going to go and devour things after that for quite a long time, As you're starting a forest fire now. It's not a campfire anymore. It's a forest fire, which is fine. I did it plenty. But these days I don't really want to. I try not to. As soon as because the girls, they don't know their own bodies, right? They don't know. They don't know. Girls don't know. Girls listening to this, often they had never been turned on enough to know what I'm talking about. It's really, you know what I mean? You got to have a rare kind of sexual experience when a girl does, if that switch is flipped, But I think girls all know it's inside them somewhere. And it doesn't matter what they look like. She could be like a librarian, It's in there. It's in there, And I was just thinking like, yeah, I don't want to tell any stories, but yeah, that's basically, that's it, man. The switch, man. What do you guys think? Let's fucking throw some stuff in here. Just pass it around, throw some stuff.
Let me go back to the original. Hey, look, women are horny, and and I worked with women for 12 years, and so in a female specific job, and so I can tell you from firsthand experience that you are absolutely correct. Women are extremely horny, particularly young women, but it goes through the age spectrum too. Now, some women, just like any group, like this group of guys, you have guys with different levels of libido, and then you have guys with different interests and different control, and so the same is true with women. Whereas you've got, in my experience, you've got a lot of women that are just horny, and they just they want to fuck, and they make no bones about it. And then you've got another group of women who are, pretty much equally as horny, but then they're a little bit more reserved, don't talk about it as much. And so they've got, other considerations in mind. They've got prestige and all. And then you've got another class of women that are just kind of over it for the most part. But I would tend to agree with you. Most women are very horny, but they have different levels of showing it. Wanted to speak to that, and I've actually seen that as very true, in my profession that I've been with for 12 years. They just have different levels, different ways that they hide it, and their social acceptability, things like that.
You made me think one thing. I would say they can be, but they have to have the Pandora's box unlocked once to know it.
Oh.
I shouldn't say they are, because it's an unknown thing with the girl until it's unlocked.
Got it.
The first time you get in a fight, you don't realize you can become like a fighter,
I see.
like a soldier. And then you realize, oh my gosh, I think that's what it is. It's the awakening.
Yeah, it's a good thought. And the girlfriend that I've had for about 2 months now, and she's older. She hadn't had a relationship in like 15 years, and she thought that she was done with relationships. And then I came along and we hit it off really, really well. And then she just exploded. I mean, I was driving with her on the freeway. I put my hand on her leg, and she went into a spasm right on the freeway. I had to pull over, and I'm like, "What the hell is wrong with you? Are you okay?" And she's like, and she was embarrassed to say I had an orgasm. I'm like, "No, are you kidding? Well, maybe I should drive," So and then ever since then, it's like she's awakened to the point, like she's a maniac. She won't let me sleep at night. So I would agree with you on that point. And when a woman finds that, if you're lucky enough to be with a woman, when she finds that out about herself, buckle up, because it's been a very, very interesting ride. And she's a great lady. I mean, I love her to death. And it's great that I get to experience that with her, because I'm actually going through that right now with somebody, and it's really neat. And I know it's a special time, and so I'm privileged to be able to be with her through that. So, anyways, I'm going to give the phone to somebody else that'd like to speak.
I think you hit the nail on the head, like something really awesome, like that. This might be one of the best episodes ever. I don't know, like that was just like you really just cut down to the core of something really fundamental. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much, but I think we underestimate like the power of sex in our culture so much. And I don't think it gets the proper credence that it deserves, especially in women and what it can do to a woman and what it can do to a man. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally true. You know when it's starting to happen too, like they'll tell you like, oh, you're making me crazy, you know? When they tell you that you're making them crazy, that's like when it's like about to be game on in terms of this. And then, it is like Pandora's box, and there's no question, like you're right. Like, I think when you really start to see it, you see how much more, because I think good sex is just like harder for women to get. So it has to be better, right? Like it's if the amount of if something's more rare, it's better basically for humans, right? So sex is harder to get, and also what you say about like a hot guy is way hotter than a hot girl. So imagine if there was a girl who was like 10 times as hot as the hottest girl, like imagine how good that sex would be. So it's like, I think you're totally right that sex is way better for women than men, like if they get good sex, and that much more desirable. And you see it, like really, I mean, it's all of it is obvious. It's just that, somebody has to say it, and then people are like, oh yeah, well, I saw that, but they always lie about it, right? You're consistently lied to about it. And I think as a guy, we tend to be more verbal, right? So it's like, well, like somebody says something and it just is like, oh yeah, that's the truth. If everybody says something, it's like, oh yeah, that's the truth. But then if you're observing that it's not the truth, it's like, how many people have the balls to be like, all this verbal shit is bullshit. This is the truth. I see it. So in some ways, it's so easy when you start to see the truth. It's all so obvious. It's like, yes, it's just watch the way women behave around a fucking hot guy. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's there's no secret. There's no secret.
Going back to what he was saying earlier, though, about like when we refer to a woman, like I refer to him as like a whore. And I don't mean that always in a derogatory way, but, so as you know, I'm divorced, and my ex-wife is like breadcrumbed me at different times, especially if I was dating or in a relationship. She'd get all sideways and create chaos and do the things she did. But, I'd give her these opportunities, like in my mind, like I'm giving her, she's probably in her mind thinking she's giving me an opportunity, right? But I'm giving her an opportunity to show like she's not the same person who made all these destructive, bad decisions, because that's like kind of like a red line for me is,
What about the concept?
Right.
Yeah, what about that?
So I'll get to that. So we're driving in the car, and she says to me, she starts talking about like why we got divorced or whatever bullshit rationalization. And I just calmly looked over at her, looked her dead in the eye, and I said, the reason why we got a divorce is because you wanted to stop fucking me and start fucking other men. And she like, I caught her so fucking off guard right there, right? Because it's totally true, okay? Totally fucking true. And she was speechless. And, and she kind of, you could see in her body language, she kind of shrugged her shoulders like, yeah, I just got busted, And, I was just like, now don't get me wrong, because I'd love to just turn on, but, we can't do that, obviously. But I'm telling you, that's what it was. You fucked up my whole life. You fucked up my business. You fucked up everything I had going on. You so fucked up everything. Why? Because you wanted to go fuck somebody else. That's it. And the judges and the lawyers and all made money off it. Society moved forward because of it. Everything.
But the key thing is you didn't know. You know, you're to say, well, what could you change? Is knowing the truth about her.
Right. I couldn't change. Are you saying what? Say that again?
You didn't know that she was going to do that.
No, at the time I did.
Now you would know.
Oh, now I know.
So there'd be responsibility, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to tell young guys, you know.
Yeah, if you know it, maybe you can prevent it from happening, which is what I was telling you earlier.
Hell no. Prevent what from happening?
If you know the bad, no.
No.
No, it can prevent it from happening to you is what I mean, not her.
Prevent what from happening now? Yeah, hold it up to your mouth.
Well, you know, it's like if you know broccoli is really good for you and you eat it every once in a while, you prevent a lot of problems down the line. You know, just the way you're eating good nutrition. I'm just using that as an example. You know, if you know, like, you can't stop another, like, you know, Ronin says, you can't control another person. You don't want to control another person, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, if I could have just looked at her before we got a divorce and said, look, I mean, not that I could do this, but if I was really like maybe smart, I could have said to her, you know, before you go screw up all our lives, why don't you go date Ronin for a while, you know?
It won't
work it out and then
work.
come back.
It won't work.
No, I know.
She's gonna go like a red hot engine to the end of the rev of that life, and then it's over.
Right.
You know.
Well, and she never got to realize. I mean, it's so stupid because she's not realized any of her fantasies, you know. And I don't even know what her fantasies are because she probably wouldn't share them with me. And she may not even know. But when we showed up to court, right? Like, you could see, like, when we showed up to court and she showed up with her lawyer, you know, and I'm not saying like a model, but you know, like, she had a new hairdo, she had sunglasses on, she thought she was getting liberated. I mean, it was like, you know, like, and I think her lawyer thought she was batshit crazy because, you know, like, she's what age would she be? She's 45 at the time of divorce with 3 children. You know, it's not like if you were 22, I could see it. Yeah, you show up to San Francisco, you hit the bar, you don't have any responsibilities, you party all night, right? But at 45, what are you going to do? Besides, you know, it's not like she's going to garner the same interest like she would have at 22. Make sense?
Yeah, but she cares more. Even
Yeah,
at that age.
Yeah.
More than about the children's lives, the security of the children, the happiness of the children, happiness of other people. This
is totally out of context. Yeah, this is totally out of context. But I'll tell you, like, the last girl I was dating, who in a last relationship with, her mother actually tried to seduce me. Her mother she's like 70 years old. And you're like, wait a minute, what? Did it work? No, because I told my girlfriend. You know, I was like, your mom's trying to, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe that was kind of stupid on my part. I don't know. But I was just kind of like, well, I mean, if she was hot, maybe.
It was dumb on your part.
Huh?
Don't. One of the things you have to do, like, I tell stories when nobody knows their names and no one has any way of doing it. Don't kiss and tell, and don't tell on other people like that. Yeah, because even though she did it, even though, you know, like, never do that. I can't put it into words, but that's not a good look for you.
Right.
Even though it's totally true, and, like, in a way you're thinking, I want to help her, I don't want her to know, but no. Next time, don't.
Your best friend, like you just saw.
Next time, don't.
Just honestly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, that's probably one of my big problems with marriage is it's too long and too infinite. I mean, people live too long now. So if most people get married, they're for the first time either in their mid to late 20s or early 30s. So if you're going to live till your 80s or even 90s, that means you're going to be stuck with the same person for, you know, half a century. It's just not really realistic. So I mean, growing up as a kid, I saw divorce all around me. My parents are actually still together, but we had a good family friend who had 6 kids, and they were very religious. And then out of nowhere, the wife just came home one day and said that she wanted to, quote unquote, go rediscover herself, which basically just means go ride other dicks. I mean, that's what it is. So she dropped the whole religious.
For orgasms.
Yeah, exactly. Her husband.
She's looking for
Orgasms. Yeah. Her prudish religious husband couldn't give it to her. So she just, tossed the 6 kids aside and started dressing like a slut. And she got a job at a bar as a bartender and started hooking up with all these guys. So, I mean, I think, it's absolutely true that, women are horny and they search for orgasms. But to your point, Ronin, about hypergamy, I don't really necessarily know how it ties into hypergamy, because my understanding of hypergamy is that it's the woman searching for the best guy, basically, that she can lock down. So searching for orgasms would be different, right? Or
well, from the perspective of, let's say, like, the reason why people talk about hypergamy is that let's just make it simple. Like, you have a girlfriend, or somebody has a girlfriend, and then that girl leaves her for another guy, right? That's what's really bothering them. Like, you don't really care if the guy has a better job than you or not. Like, I don't know about you guys, but have you ever been, like, in love with a girl where you're, like, torn up when she goes to somebody else? Ever been like that? Everybody's been like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you're like 16 or something or whatever, you've been like that, right? What is the image in your mind?
Them having sex.
That's right. The image is of them, like, her mouth, his dick, whatever. No, it's the specifics. No, those are the things you think of.
Yeah.
So we make up these complex words like hypergamy. We don't really care if he has 2 credit cards or 3. It's the fact that she's putting her mouth around the guy's dick and everything. That's what's driving us insane. Yeah. So they're just very unhappy when they're talking about hypergamy, right? Because the woman is leaving them and they're very sad. And they have all these feelings that they don't want to deal with. But the key is to deal with those feelings and say, I feel very sad. I feel betrayed. I'm angry. I feel lost. I feel whatever it is, and deal with those feelings. Rather than you point at her. It's like, no, you feel bad. You have to deal with those feelings. She's doing her thing, but you got to deal with your thing. And it's difficult when you're upset to deal with it. It's easier to say, she's like this, she's like that, but it's much more difficult to say, I feel sad. I don't know what to do. I don't know who I can trust. I feel betrayed. I told her that, and I know she's telling somebody else that now. And, and not feeling safe in the world and all these feelings that you have. That's the key, is to understand that, deal with those things. And but actually I don't think the hypergamy is even what bothers guys. It's just the fact that she's not staying with the guy. At least if I talk for my own self, I think that would be it. I don't really care. At the end of the day, I don't care where the guy's from or what he looks like or how many credit cards he has. It's just the fact that if I'm in that state, it's just that she left me for him or she went with him. And that would, I remember, like, when I was 19, the one time I really had this when I was 19, I had a 5-year girlfriend, and then she wanted to, you guys heard it before, and like I wouldn't. And so she left with it. She went out to find another guy, and like she went with a German guy. And I probably only for a month, but I hated German guys for like 2 years. I was like, fucking German guys, in my mind, because it was like, all I knew is he was a German guy, I never saw him or anything. And I was like 19, I was like, damn German guys,
Why'd you break up?
Because we met, her brother was my youth minister, right? And so we were Christians, right? And then when I was 18, we went off to school together for the first year. It was a Christian school. And then over the year, especially in biology class, I thought, hey, I don't see, the scientific basis for the God being there, and I don't see it anymore. I don't believe it. And I knew it was over for me. Like, I knew this was it. And I told her, I said, look, and she said, I want to go the other way. I want to be a missionary. And I want to have Bible studies in our home. And the thing was, it was a true love story, because I loved her and she loved me and she was a good woman. and I was totally in love with her and a good man, but it didn't work out because of religion, you know. And even today we're friends, and she's still a good woman, still a good wife. And she actually was, I would say this, I think she was the best. I don't mean just the one that I fell in love with, but I think she was the best girl I met. You know, religion, right? Fucking religion. You know,
RE means to go back.
it would have been a very different life. But I think, you know, I see her today. I see, you know, and we had a really, really weird relationship, because if you heard the stories, you would be blown away of the coincidences we had since then. She was in a taxi, saw me in Shanghai, drove by me. Yeah. And then she calls me like 3 years later, right? And then, you know, we had been to one island in the Philippines. She was a missionary. I was in the same island. There's like 5,000 languages in the Philippines. And we happened to be on the same. It was a weird. And then before she got married, she came to visit me in Tokyo, like 1 week before she got married, you know. And we still have a lot in common. And I still think she's a good girl. But I must say that I had a very good chance to be married and happy in a good family with kids. I had a very, very good chance when I was 19. And it didn't work out, but I often wonder which is better, because I have a pretty good life. Like, I like my unique life that I have. It's a very rare life, you know. And at this point today, I would not trade it for what, you know, her husband has. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't, because I like my life. My life is very unique. I've had many unique experiences, and I love the things I've done and the people I've met and the friends I have and everything. You know what I mean? I like where I am. So I actually, even with, it's not true, but let's just say a perfect marriage as one possibility and perfect freedom as another. Neither one are completely true, but let's just say those two options, pretty close to what I had. And I say I prefer freedom, you know, and I prefer the fact that she found what she wanted. Like, I'm glad that she found what she wanted, you know. Like, I'm glad. It's good for her. It's her thing, right? She wanted that security. She wanted that. She has 5 kids, right? She wanted that, right? And that's good. And she did her thing. But life is like, it's the wisdom of knowing what you want more, you know. You want one thing, but, you know, what do you want a little more, you know? And it's that wisdom and, like, being able to know yourself well enough and just get right on to what it is you really want. And if I say what I really want was, I was always into excitement and freedom, and I wouldn't speak Japanese. I wouldn't speak Chinese, probably. I might speak Chinese. She speaks Chinese. She went to China, was a missionary, and speaks Mandarin. Think about that. What are the fucking odds? Yeah, she's like Norwegian background and speaks Chinese, right? So weird. But I wouldn't speak Japanese. I wouldn't have had the experiences in Japan. I wouldn't have gone around the world. You know, I wouldn't have been with all those women, you know. And she came to me 1 week, just as you guys might have your doubts, but actually it's true, because 1 week before she got married, she came to visit me. She's like, oh, we're just passing through your neighborhood in Tokyo. And, you know, she lived in like LA. She's like, I just, you know, I was missing my flight, and like I missed my flight. She said, she got my number from my mom. She called my mom. She said, I missed my flight. I'm in Narita Airport, and I have to spend the night. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then she came to visit me 1 week before she got married. And I kind of realized that, as great a girl as she is a good girl, but I was happy with my freedom. I was, you know, I was on a roll, you know. And even at that moment, I was like, I knew what she was saying by that visit.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew. She was saying a lot there. She was saying like I was the love of her life, right?
Yeah.
So what am I going to do, right? Am I going to find, she was mine, right? So, but it doesn't mean you have to get married. You still have that feeling, right? I think that's the thing people misunderstand about the red pill, is you have your feelings, right? But it doesn't mean it's the best decision for you. It doesn't. It does not mean it's the best decision. Because as a natural healthy guy, you're going to have normal feelings of love. You're going to have feelings of all kinds of feelings, right? That you're not supposed to have. And you're not supposed to feel anger. You're not supposed to feel, you're going to have all these feelings. But it doesn't mean, just because you feel something, doesn't mean you have to make the choice that every blue pill guy makes either, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's the tricky part. You can still choose another path and still have experienced it just as much as anybody else, or probably more. You know, most people get married, it's not even real, right? You know? So I think the key is to really experience life, but then to know yourself well enough to really know who you are, you know. And that was one thing you said in the beginning, the first day I saw you. He was like, I know that after a year, you know, he's digging on this chick now, but he's like, after a year, I know I'm going to go off and do my own thing again. He's like, because that's the way I am. I'm just like a 1 year in love kind of guy, basically, you know, nutshell. And I was like, yeah, you know, knowing yourself well, like you might fall in love for that year, but then that's it. You're like, that's it. It's over for you, right? Once it's over, right? And that's okay. That's the thing. We always think that if we have these feelings, or, you know, guys will be like red pills, be like, you can't. That's it. It's not. Because the harder you try to fight your own feelings, you're going to go down in flames 10 times harder. You know, you can pay for it in 100 ways. Okay. You can steal a pack of gum and you can pay for it. You're going to pay for it either way. Like, you can steal things and get caught, go to jail. You didn't pay for them. You got them for free. You're sitting in jail. Did you get them for free? You know, so you pay for it either way, you know. So let yourself have the feelings. Be a passionate person. But you don't have to make those decisions about where you're going to do, because the truth is, the feeling, I kind of think, the feeling I had for her had almost not that much to do with marriage. You know what I mean? It was just a natural feeling. And marriage is kind of an unnatural thing. You know, it didn't come down from, it was just a contract with the government. It's a U.S. government thing. It's a British government thing, right? It's a Japanese government thing. It's not, two people are just two people, right? And you have these feelings with people sometimes. And people think, oh, I have this feeling, I have to do this. You know, you don't have to do anything. You have a feeling. Congratulations. You are a human being, you know. Feel that feeling. But don't believe the blue pill world about what that has to mean or what you have to do now. Now you have to do this. Now you might, but you don't have to. It's not it might not even be the natural course of affairs, you know, for you. That might not be even the thing you should do, you know. And then the more you try to cover it, I tell you, it's not a good plan. Because just like the pack of gum, you're going to pay. Because you're going to pay in the fact that you feel like life has no meaning. If you're in a relationship, it sucks, right? So you made your neighbors happy and your mom happy, but you have no juice. You have no zest. And, you know, what happens when you don't have desire, when you don't have excitement? What happens when you don't have fulfillment? You're just go dig your grave over there and just slowly inch that way. That's what you're doing. Because that's it. You're just inching towards that, getting in that grave, right? So I say, fuck that, you know. Whatever it is that keeps you alive, you know. Maybe some guy would say, you know, what gets me alive is getting married and divorce raped or whatever he wants to do over and over. Like that makes you feel alive, that's fine. You know, that's his thing, you know. Some guys get paid to get kicked in the balls in Japan. I know that's a huge thing. You know, whatever turns you on, you know. For me, it's like I want to feel the feelings fucking all the way. I want to be natural and let those things happen. And by doing that, the feelings, the need for me to be irrational is much less. Because in the end, I can be rational. Because I'm dealing with my feelings, right? I'm dealing with that difficult, complex thing. So then I become very rational. And I'm like, wait, that's not the same. A contract with the government, that's not the same as what I was talking about back there. Anybody can do that. I'm talking about some art, you know. I'm talking about something rare, right? So, you know, that's the thing. You can start to separate, you know. That's all. Any more?
Yeah, just yesterday you had, this is a bit of a tangent, but yesterday you had mentioned about the blue-pilled guys, and that they kind of look at red-pilled guys with a bit of contempt because they don't understand us because they've never been massively fucked over. But my question is like, well, firstly, I think that a lot of blue-pilled guys are faking it. I don't have any evidence of that, but it would seem that that's the case. Just kind of by what I've gathered from hanging around them. But secondly, how do they function? Like, how do they get by in their world? Like, how do they not open their eyes and basically see how things really are? Do they just lie to themselves? Or just because they haven't been massively fucked over, obviously they see, other guys getting screwed over in marriages and relationships. And so I'm not really clear, like, do you really think that blue-pilled guys are really that happy? Or do you think that they're kind of putting on a bit of a show?
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I know girls better than guys in that sense, like blue-pilled guys. I don't know, man. Let me think. Are they happy? That's a difficult one because who knows, right? Yeah, maybe they are. I don't know. I mean, I was pretty happy as I learned these things. Yeah, no, I don't think that red pill makes you happy. Or I think you just keep learning things. Like, you like science, right? First, you discover the laws of gravity. Then you discover, the atom. And then you realize it's smaller, it's quarks. It's not like you were unhappy when you only saw, one law of gravity, and then you're happier when you have many laws of gravity. I don't even know if knowing the truth makes you happy. I'm not sure if it does. But I think, I don't think happiness would be the proper, like measurement, happiness. I don't know. I think that humans are social creatures. So it is very easy when everybody likes you or accepts you, right? I think it's hard to be red pilled in a way. Because let's say, I lived in the suburbs for 5 months in Vegas, right? And it's kind of easy, I noticed. I'd never done it before because I didn't grow up in the suburbs, right? So I was in the suburbs for 5 months, and I talked to my neighbors. I went to the party down the street, and I learned a lot about the suburbs. It was interesting. And then, I was very accepted. I had things that made me accepted. I was one of them in the neighborhood, and you know what I mean? And we had the house there and the car there, and, it was like, there is a lot of happiness in just not having a lot of hassles in life, right? It's tough to be the one guy who stands out and be the guy who, you know what I mean? Like the heretic that got burned at the stake, right? Was he happy because he had the truth? No, because society burned him at the stake for knowing that. So I think it's hard. It's easy. I would say it's easy to be blue-pilled. So that I would say it's very easy because you can kind of lie to yourself and say, I don't agree with all this stuff, but most of it I agree with, and I'll just play along. And I have my own secret thing. It's kind of like the married guys always do this. You watch married guys, they'll be like, oh, what my wife doesn't know, about whatever it is that he does. It's some dumb thing. It's not like a girlfriend. It's just like, how much him and his friends drink, or, the porn video he watched, or, how much, I don't know. It's just something wild, or that he thinks is wild. It's this game where you're trapped, but pretending like you're a rebel, and you kind of play both sides, So I think that's what blue-pill guys kind of do. And that's why I don't send memes too much in the group chats, because all those are just blue-pilled guys who are trying to do that. Like, she doesn't know how much I know. It's like, really red-pill guys don't really need memes that much because they see through everything, and they're like, they're totally on another path. Those memes are for when you're stuck and you're trying to get a little bit of satisfaction while you're stuck. Like women are like this and women are like that. When you're free, you don't even have fucking time for it. You're out there just doing shit, really. So I think a lot of the blue pill guys, there's a lot of camaraderie they have, which I don't have as much. You know, I mean, I do, of course, in this community, but in the suburbs, you got that in the churches. You know, like let's say you go to church and then you quit. It's really hard because all of a sudden a lot of friends don't accept you anymore. So I think it's more you're talking about is people that play along to get along. And is that the way to go, or is it to stand out? I think mental health wise, I think they're smarter because it's easier on the human psyche to just kind of be part of the group and just kind of play along. And we all do it. I mean, all our haircuts are pretty much normal haircuts, and we're all wearing clothes which are socially acceptable. We do a lot of things that society does. You know, we don't walk on all fours, but you can. You know, we do a lot of socially acceptable things. So we're in that sense. If a spaceman came down, he'd say they're all blue pill. You know, how many are blue pills? Say all of them. They're all doing the same things. You know, I've watched them. They all do this. So, you know, how much of society do we fit into? Except we do a lot, right? Whereas you go to like the jungle and a tribe that's never been contacted, they're completely from a different mindset, right? So we are suburban. You know what I mean? We are modern in that way. We are social. So it's just, you know, in the mind of religion or beliefs, or I don't even know what it is, because women like guys like us more in general because we're outside and different, right? Then this is another thing a lot of people listening to this channel don't know is the guys that come to Summit, they're pretty attractive to women in general. Like I would say the guys that come to Summit in general are more attractive to women, way more than the average guy, which is funny because they're in shape, guys save money, guys are funny, guys are having fun, guys are doing what they want, they have a smile on their face, you know what I mean? And also I've noticed like a lot of guys tend to be tall, tend to be attractive, very, very common. I remember the first time I met a MGTOW guy ever. I Miggy, right? Miggy had a channel and he said he was in Bangkok. And I was like, I want to meet you. And he's like, I listen to your channel. I want to meet you too. I'm like, okay. So I went to meet him and he came with a friend. And it was like two guys and both of them were like probably 6'8" plus and good looking. And I was like totally shocked. I was like, no way. I did not expect that at all. Because everybody said all these things about, you know, the guys. And because you don't see them on the channels that much, you don't really see what people look like. But there's actually a lot of pretty attractive guys to girls here. So it's not like a group of guys, you know, that are not attractive who, you know, there's all these ideas about us, right? It's totally not true. When we're walking down the street, we get a lot of looks, you know. We do. We get a lot of invitations. Last night was hilarious, you know. Yeah. You know, it's just the way it is. It's going to happen, right? We're cool guys. We're all doing shit. It's just that we don't accept marriage and that. And people somehow, they hate that so much. They have to like make all these lame assumptions about us. It's total bullshit. We just don't like marriage. Live with it. Grow up. You know, we're not into it. It seems like a scam. Everybody we know gets scammed. Fuck it. We'll do something else. Life is long and life is good. You don't want to be friends because of that? Whatever. You believe in some fucking government contract that much? To me, that's very weird. I understand live and let live, a guy who would do it, but not these guys who hate other guys who don't do it, or women who would like attack you for not fucking towing the party line. That's fascism, man. Fucking fascism. Fuck that. Dude, just in time on the fascism note. Dude, I think we should say one thing and then
sure, really quick.
How to say what this was about.
You know, how speaking from experience as far as trying to make, back when I was trying to make it work, you know, how can they be happy? It's kind of doing the blue pill traditional thing. There's an element for me, there was like sort of an element of unselfishness, right? So it's like, you know, those old adages like 'tis better to give than to receive, or the pursuit of hedonistic short term, like that's not gonna make you happy in the end. And so it's like an attitude of service. So you find yourself married or whatever, you're like, and you get those little bursts of, you know, putting a smile on her face, or and because happiness isn't lineal from beginning to end, it's a decision every day. So you combine the fact that it's every day, and then if today didn't go good, you wake up tomorrow, maybe it'll be better. So going from blue to red, it's not that I had the wrong attitude to be of service. It didn't work anyway, right? Even though I was trying to say that it almost worked, and it was close. But anyway, that's my 2 cents for that. So anybody?
Another quick note. I really liked. I was curious about the whole religion thing. When it didn't work out for you in that time, because I actually think, because my parents are different races, but on like spiritual stuff, they're exactly the same. They're even actually different political parties too, but on the spiritual stuff, it's exactly the same. So
Like religious stuff, you mean, or
like
non-religious spiritual?
Like spiritual. I wouldn't say they're religious, but yeah, but they're completely the same. So I think it's a really powerful connection that people can have if they connect on that level. I just want to throw that out there because I noticed that my parents, even though they're completely different, from different parts of the world, African, European, and different parties, Republican, Democrat, but on that level, when they agree on the same spiritual things, and that's what kept them together for so many years, actually. So I just that reminded me of my parents when you spoke about that. Yeah.
Right. Hand it over there, and then want to say something?
I don't have anything to add. I just got here.
Okay.
Just talking about women and other in search of.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.